On the Business Courier front page centerpiece this week, it's end of year, and at the Business Courier, that means the book of lists. It's a lot to digest, so we have a little primer to help you identify what is trending now. Mergers and acquisitions totally overhauled the landscape of Cincinnati's accounting world in 2014. The trend is largely the result of an increased need for added expertise in complex areas such as healthcare. The Breakthrough Industry of the Year award goes to logistics, the art of matching freight with transportation. High-profile cybersecurity hacks in 2014 proved the cost of being unprepared can be catastrophic. This year has been a significant one in terms of expansions and developments at some of the area's largest hospitals, including Christ Hospital, Tri-Health, and Cincinnati Children's. Momentum in downtown Cincinnati has been growing for the better part of a decade, but in 2014, the city and Hamilton County landed the biggest wins in modern memory. There was the overwhelming passage of the Icon tax to pay for repairs to Union Terminal. It was one of the most contentious debates of the year, led by a who's who of Cincinnati corporate leaders. And there's the decision by General Electric to bring its global operations center to the banks. This is a rendering of the new building. GE selected the banks over sites in Mason and Oakley. The site is expected to eventually employ around 2,000 people. Part of the reason GE chose the banks centered around access to parking and public transportation. Big transportation stories this year include continuation of streetcar construction and Metro looking to expand its bus service. Also, the Cincinnati Northern Kentucky International Airport made great strides landing and keeping a long elusive species for Cincinnati, the low-cost carrier. It's clear that CVG is in the future plans of Frontier and Allegiant Airlines, both of which quickly expanded in 2014. There is so much in the book of lists, it's hard to know when to stop. So let's take a break and turn it over to Business Courier editor Rob Dawmeyer and producer Kelly Leon to get their take on what's in it and what it means to you. Kelly and Rob.
Thanks, Peg. It's so much fun to interview you, Rob.
Okay. I'll choose to believe you.
Usually Rob's here
That's
interviewing
right.
someone. Now
That's right.
I get to put him on the hot seat.
That's right.
Like it. So we saw some of the trends.
Right.
You guys spend a lot of time compiling this, and it's kind of like all year long. And
Absolutely. Yeah, we have a full-time research director, Hannah McCartney, who does a fantastic job. I mean, collecting this kind of data is still, you have to hit the phones. I mean, we're still doing this the old-fashioned way. You know, a lot of times companies in town are just too busy. Really, they know they want to be in the book. They know they'll be in the book, but for whatever reason, they just don't respond. So having a full-time researcher is key to everything we do, and that's the only way we're able to produce those weekly lists and then this big, giant 164-page book of lists.
Yeah, which a lot of people, including me, keep around and kind of refer to.
That's our intention. We hope it's a 12-month product.
Yeah.
And it's a big advertising generator for us. It's a big part of our business.
Yeah. And it really, in looking at some of the top stories, you know, you find those within, like this whole GE thing. That's probably the biggest story of the year, do you think?
It is. Well, we think it is. We actually sat down as a group and talked about what were the biggest stories of the year. And for us, it came down to GE opening at the banks with up to 2,000 employees, or Procter & Gamble announcing that it was going to get rid of half of its brands. I mean, that's a massive story as well, and that continues to break. We just got news this week that they got rid of Zest and Camay. But we felt with the jobs and with GE making an impact on the banks right on the front porch of the city, we thought that was the most important story for Cincinnati, business story for Cincinnati.
Yeah, I mean, they've had the entertainment, they've had the residential. Now they have the business. I mean, that's talking about mixed use. So, well, yeah, preview to come of we'll have our first issue of the year coming up, and you will refer to that book of lists throughout that year. I'm quite sure.
We will.
Yeah. So thanks for being here. Happy New Year to you.
You too.
And we'll be back next week in the new year.
Great.
For now, back to Peg.
All right. Thanks to Kelly and Rob.